Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm obviously still figuring out my life. Forgot to turn on my good camera. There we go. Let's see here. Let me see if I can fix my picture. Because why have a good camera if you're not going to turn it on? There we go. That's better. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, y'all. Today's 7-ish was a little more 7-ish than what I intended it to be. And the reason for that is y'all had a fight with a trash can this morning. I think the thing is, every Monday morning, I'm having a fight with somebody or something. Is that probably what Monday mornings is about? Is that you find yourself fighting with something or somebody. So we are live right now on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Hey Sherry Drum, you said, and it's 5 in California. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I got rid of the music so y'all can hear me okay. Hey Orlando. Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm not going to talk for an hour and a half today. At least that's what I'm telling myself, right? What are you drinking? I'd love to know what you're drinking. Because, oh yes, Shona, there is a word that's ish. But that's, I really mean kind of sort of 7 o'clock. Good morning. Yes, thank you, Mary Davis, for your prayers. We appreciate you. Sumatra, coffee. Drinking water, nothing, just waking up. Second cup of coffee. Turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, cardamom mix. You're on it, girl. Tea, plant-based coffee. Bulletproof coffee. Drinking my probiotic ginger honey tea. Water, says Vanessa. I gotta lose 2 pounds this week. Tea and jade citrus mint green tea. That sounds awesome. Kombucha. I need to get some of that. Did you make it yourself? Keto coffee. Amy Cloud, and I want to know if you made it yourself. Mango ginger tea. Raspberry kickstart. Caramel macchiato. Hazelnut coffee. First glass. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Coffee with the grounds. I'm drinking hibiscus this morning. Thank y'all for telling me what you're drinking. Coconut cream coffee. I love that. Okay, so, I had a fight with a trash can this morning. And, so one of the things you need to know when you move is when the trash comes. You need to know this, and you need to be prepared if the rhythm for the trash in your new place is different than your old place. Okay? Hey, Ruth Griffin. Our old place, we had the trash come every Tuesday and Friday, twice a week. That gave me enough time to clean out my fridge on Mondays, put everything out, and, move on with my life. So, oh, yes, Monique, that's my computer fan blowing. I don't know why it's blowing, but it is. So I moved the mic. So, in the new place, though, move this closer so y'all can hear me better. In the new place, though, somebody said, you moved? Looks like the same door. Yes, because I'm still moving. Amy, you did not make the kombucha, but you just ordered a kit to start making it on your own. So, in the new place, y'all, it comes on Mondays. The trash comes on Mondays. And that is the only day it comes. So you have to be prepared. Do you understand? Prepared. You got to get your stuff together the night before. You know, you got to, put it out. And so my husband put out the trash last night because he was being proactive. Hand varnish from England. And then I stayed up late last night, cleaning up, still unpacking, throwing things away. I created more trash. So this morning, I had to take more trash out to the trash can. And then I realized it wouldn't fit in the trash can. And I read the rules, and I'm a rule follower. And so I took the trash that was in there, and I was fighting with it. I was fighting with the trash. I was trying to push it down and make room for the new bag that I was adding. So I was fighting with the trash, and then I realized I didn't have to fight with the trash because we have 2 trash receptacles. So then I had to go, back down by the garage, get the trash bin, bring it out to the front of the house. Because I was fighting with the trash bin, when I had another trash bin, I didn't have to fight with the trash, but I was fighting with it, y'all. I was trying to make it all fit in the first one. So it was a whole situation. And I see y'all talking about your trash. Listen, it's a whole situation when you're trash. When you're trying to make the one day it comes to be picked up, you know what I'm saying? I also know now that there's, I got to pay attention to the bulk pickup, because if y'all tuned in last week, that I have a situation with the tree and the neighbor. And I've taken the week to make sure that I'm supposed to get that tree. Let me tell you why I'm glad I took my time to do my homework with that tree. Number one, the city told me that there was not an easement. However, there is. There is. I did my homework. I called around. I looked up the map, on the appraisal district for the city, and I was like, I think there's something there. But the bottom line is, easement or no easement, I still have to take care of it. But in the process of figuring this out and taking my time to figure this out, we also realize that the people who are in the home are not the owners. They're the renters. Well, I'm not going in the yard of a home that's owned by somebody else. I need to get permission from the person who owns it. But the reason why this all matters is because when we clean out the tree situation, we want to, do it close to the time where they have bulk pickup with the trash, because we don't want to have to haul that stuff off. We want to be able to put it on the front of the yard and have the city pick it up. Right? like that. Anyway, so yes, the plot thickens. So first of all, I'm dealing with the fact that trash only comes on Monday, which is a whole, it's a whole situation in and of itself. Because, I need my trash picked up multiple times a week. Because I'm multiple times a week putting out stuff. And then you got to make sure that you know what day to put out your ongoing trash. But then there are some days when you need a bulk pickup, because there's just so much work to be done. And you need to know when it's time to put that out. There's a knowing that you have to have about what's happening in your neck of the woods, so you know what to do and when to do it. And you know that there's this regular process by which you have to put out the trash so that you can function and function well. Somebody knows, if you're a church going somebody, you understand that I'm going somewhere. So that's my whole opening illustration. Yes, I hate the one-day trash pickup. I'm already mad about it. Yes, Shanquetta, we had the extra bin. I just forgot that I had it. And yes, there is so much trash when you move. Okay, y'all, before I get into what the trash and the one day pickup and the bulk pickup has to do with my life, and has to do with what I want to tell you about today, I always know that there are some first timers that are tuning in ministry and motherhood. You said, I see where you're going. Ministry and motherhood. I also know that there are some first time guests. That's one of the things I've learned from being a church girl. It's always somebody's first time. Always, okay? So if today's your first time, if you're a Coffee with Crystal newbie, a CWC virgin, raise your glass, raise your hand, tell me that you're new here. Hey there, Nima, first time guest on Instagram. Hey, Lindsay, cheers, it's your first time. G Crew fam said, you don't ever talk just to talk. You always have a point. I try to. Hey, Natalie, I'm not sure, but I see you. Good morning. Come on, Deborah Johnson, welcoming committee. Keyshawn, good morning. Hey, Jamie, I see that you're new. Strong and courageous, you're new. Lady Sunshine, yay. First time Bree is here. Yay, I'm glad you're here. So if you're here, I don't ever want you to miss anything, okay? So if you're new, make sure that you go to my website, right? crystalevanshurst.com. Make sure you sign up for my email list, because then you won't miss anything. I'm always sending great things out. Because why not? It's my business. Y'all know who I've been watching. But y'all, I also want to make sure that you know about my new book that's coming out on September the 1st. Okay. It is the 28-day prayer journey. And if you haven't picked it up, I want you to pick it up early, because the pre-orders are great. And if you order early, then you get all the fun things. Okay. That's why you want to pre-order early. A lot of y'all said, should I get the book or should I get the Bible study? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you should get both. But how do you do it? Pick one and then do the other. So if you're a Bible study person, start with the Bible study, then read the book. Like study prayer, point of prayer, the beauty of prayer, and then do your 28 days. If you're like, I'm more of a book person, then get the book, do that, do your 28 days, and then go deeper through Bible study. Okay? So one is a book, like a journey, 28 days of prayer. And then the other one is a Bible study. So you study and go deeper about prayer. Okay? Pick it up early. All right? And then make sure that you join us when you pre-order. You'll get an invitation to a special 4-week private prayer experience. We will have a little private area where we get together and pray every week for 4 weeks. And you only get that invite if you have pre-ordered. So if you pre-ordered, that's awesome. Make sure you also let me know you pre-ordered so that I can send you your invitation for all the fun stuff. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. Yes, y'all know who I've been listening to. The thing is, I have to get beyond watching her and actually cooking what she's teaching me to cook. All right. Where do you go to order Strong and Courageously Fit? crystalevanshurst.com/pray. Okay. Yay. Awesome. Yes, y'all. Listen, I've been trying to get Tabitha. Y'all can help me out. Y'all can go to her Instagram and tag the mess out of my name. Say, please do an interview with Crystal Hurst, at Crystal Hurst. Don't forget the CH. Then I'll keep asking. She's really busy. She blew up really quick. So, it's gotten lost in all of her DMs and emails, I'm sure. Okay. So here's the thing, y'all. Let me talk to you for just a second about shame. Let me talk to you about shame. Let me tell you the problem with shame. And that's the current book I'm working on is a book about living free, forgiving yourself, and getting rid of shame. I am amazed at much, how much of a huge negative impact the emotion of shame will have on you, and how many people are totally unaware of shame and what they're carrying. They don't realize what they're carrying. They know it when they kind of sort of feel it, but they're not even all the time aware of it. Let me give you an example. I was going to Academy, outdoor sports store, and I ran into a high school friend, okay, girlfriend. And later, because that girlfriend, we had each other's number. Later, that girlfriend, she messaged me and she said, "Is there something that I've done to offend you? Because it just seemed like when we were talking, you just seemed anxious to get away from me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "You just kept turning your body away from me. Like you just, you didn't have time or you were busy." And I was I told her, I said, "I'm so sorry." Because I wasn't intentionally doing that. But when I think back in that moment in the parking lot of Academy, I had on a jacket, y'all, and I kept holding my jacket, the top of my jacket, and I kept pulling it. And as I turned away from her, I do remember feeling like I wanted to get out of the conversation. I do remember feeling that. But it wasn't because I didn't want to talk to her. You want to know why I didn't want to have that conversation with her? Because I gained weight. I wasn't planning on seeing anybody that day. I looked a hot mess, and I was anxious to wind up the conversation, to wrap up the conversation, because I didn't want her to see me. See, that's what shame will do. It will cause you to not want people to see you. It will cause you to not want to see yourself. You won't want to see yourself. You will start doing all of these things to cover yourself up from other people and from yourself, because you don't want anybody to see what's really happening. Yes, Deborah Johnson, the book, The Soul of Shame, is amazing. It is amazing. It must be in my bag. Oh, nope. Hold on. See, I told y'all I always have things y'all can't see. Bam! Mine is all marked up. See? All marked up. The Soul of Shame by Kurt Thompson. Listen. Shame, if you have ever felt that, let me, this is when you feel it. When you see an old boyfriend and you're like, "Oh my God." Okay. When you're embarrassed of yourself, when you are trying to hide, think about Adam and Eve in the garden. As soon as they were wrong and knew they had done wrong, God comes looking for them because he's always chasing after us. What did they do? They built clothes out of fig leaves because they had to hide. Who told them that they were naked? They were free and confident and willing to be known. And then something happened in their lives that caused them, their sin resulted in shame. Okay, sometimes it is sin that causes shame. Sometimes it's not our sin that causes shame. It's just, life, things happen. We're embarrassed. Somebody else did something. We're ashamed. Okay? So, here's the thing. Okay? Here's the thing. When you are living with shame, it will do some things to you. Okay? Shame will cause you to hide. Okay? But it doesn't just cause you to hide, like to hang your head in shame. It doesn't cause you to hide the thing that happened in your life, hide your feelings about it. It doesn't cause you to just hide. It causes you to hide in a variety of ways. Okay, so here's the domino effect of shame causing you to want to hide. Shame will silence you, because it doesn't just cause you to hide physically from people. It causes you to silence your voice. It causes you to want to hide the communication of you. Shame will silence you. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have a voice, right? God met Adam in the garden. He said to Adam, "I want you to name the animals. Use your voice to speak." To speak what? To speak life. You see? You see where I'm going here? And if you no longer feel free to be seen, you will stop speaking. Because a part of how you are seen is in what you say. This is how it works. You'll stop talking. You'll stop being honest. You'll stop being clear. You'll be apologetic for what you really think. You won't say it because you don't feel worthy to give your opinion. You'll become quiet. You will silence and muzzle yourself because you don't feel good about showing up as the full you, because now you are feeling shame, and shame causes you to hide. Your shame will cause you to be silent. Okay? That's one way shame causes you to hide. The other way shame causes you to hide is because it will cause you to want to be separate. Those fig leaves that Adam and Eve put on were backing themselves up from God, and it was hiding themselves, putting a shield of separation between a God who wanted to know them, who wanted them to be fully known, and their willingness to be fully known. When you don't want to be fully known, you will put a barrier of separation between yourself and other people. Okay? And that can be healthy. Sometimes you need a barrier between you and that old boyfriend. But when there's a shame barrier, it doesn't keep you safe alone. It also keeps you hidden. It keeps you silent, and it keeps you separate. And when you practice silence and when you practice separation, it hinders you from living full in healthy places. You start to learn to walk the shame walk. Okay? Because the walk of shame, you ever heard that? The walk of shame, it is a way to walk that you learn. And the problem is that when you start clothing yourself with shame and walking in silence and walking in separation, that's the way you learn to walk. And then when the season of shame has ended, when the thing that caused you to feel shame has gone away, you're still walking in silence and in separation because that's the way you practiced walking. Some of y'all learned shame. You learned silence. You learned separation because the thing that you did, you couldn't talk about. The thing that happened to you, you couldn't talk about. The thing that you went through, you couldn't talk about. And because you were so afraid of what people were going to think about you, what people were going to say about you, how people were going to treat you after you learned, you practiced in a season of your life walking in shame, and that walking in shame caused you to be silent. It caused you to practice separation. And now, 20 years later, you can't forgive yourself. You can't forgive them. And all you know how to do is walk in shame. You're stuck. You're stuck in the silence. You're stuck in the separation. And the shame-filled life means you are not living. Not only are you not living just at a bare minimum, you are not living at a high level, because in order to live at a high level, you have to understand your worth. And you cannot understand your worth if you are still practicing the walk of shame. Now, right now, I'm going to give you this third way of the walk of shame impacting your life. But I'm going to ask you this question. I see you. You said, this is me. This is me. She's talking to me. Okay, let me tell you something, because I'm going to give you an opportunity this morning to begin, to take off the cloak of shame. I'm going to give you the opportunity. Now, we can't do it all this morning, y'all. I'm not a licensed counselor. I'm not your personal coach. What I am here to do is give you a shot in the arm to wake you up, right? Because this is Monday, and I want to motivate you this Monday morning. I want to give you a shot in the arm to start living at a high level. And you can't do that if you're living in shame. Here's the question, and then I'm going to give you the third way that shame will keep you from living, okay? But I need you to think about it. And when I say go, I don't want you to hesitate. I want you to just answer, okay? I want you to answer. I want you to answer. I don't want you to think too hard about it, because if you think too hard about it, you won't say it. And breaking the silence is the first way that you break the shame, because you believe what I'm going to tell you in just a minute about your worth, and you're choosing to believe your worth and not operate in shame, okay? All right, here we go. Here's the question. Then I'm going to give you number 3. The question is, what happened in your life that you can't forgive yourself for? What did you do What was done to you? What experience did you have that caused you to begin the walk of shame? That's the question. And some of y'all are like, oh, I can't say that out loud. Maybe you can't. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you what you need to do. You need to write it down. You need to call a friend. You need to call a pastor, and you need to speak that thing. It'll free you. Okay? But hold on to it. Hold on to it. Here's the third way. Shame will silence you, it will separate you, and it will silo you. You will feel like if you're not on your own, then you're not. Not only will it cause you to have some distance between people, it will cause you to operate in your own head. And the worst thing that you can do in your life is to be by yourself. The worst thing. You need community somewhere. A friend, a small group, a pastor, a counselor. Goodness, hashtag a little QC. You're here this morning, aren't you? Some of y'all have showed up every time I've gone live, and y'all know each other by name, and it's the thing. Okay? All right, so now I'm not going to call your names, but if you were waiting, trying to get up the gumption, because some of y'all were like, you know what? It's my day. It's my day. It's my day. I'm going to say this out loud. I don't want to be silent anymore. I don't want to be separated anymore. I don't want to be siloed anymore, and I'm going to say this thing out loud. Okay? I'm not going to call your name, but I am going to call some of these things, because in me calling these things out, it's going to free somebody else who doesn't feel like they can say the thing out loud. Okay? So here we go. Molestation, church hurt, divorce, getting pregnant at 15, student loans, I did not finish college, I was raped, the weight I can't get off, rejection from my mother, rejection, I had an affair, I was abused as a child, I was a teen mom, I'm living intimidated, okay, I didn't finish college, again, cheating in my marriage, raped again as a child, abandoned by my parents, that's rejection, calling it out, it will free you. I failed these courses, way overspending and getting into debt. Oh my gosh, this makes me cry. It hurts. It does. But you know what? Anytime you have to heal yourself, hurt yourself to heal yourself, it's worth the hurt. Do you hear me? Anytime you have to hurt yourself to heal yourself, it's worth the hurt. Okay, there we go. I had an abortion, bad relationships. I'm experiencing self-doubt. Okay, here we go. That one girl said it. And see, once you say it, other people go, oh, I can say it too. 2 failed marriages, rejection. Do you see there's a theme here? You are not alone. I'm angry all the time. I didn't go to college. I'm not smart enough. Rape, abuse. I'm on Instagram now reading victim of domestic violence. My past, divorce, sexually abused, sexual trauma. A lot of sexual abuse, sexual trauma. And what I'm finding is that once one person says it out loud, then other people say it. Okay? Because here's the thing about you deciding not to walk in shame. When you go get your freedom, you are freed to free somebody else. Only healed people can heal people. Toxic relationship. Listen, you guys, pornography addiction. I want to applaud you for saying that out loud. You're the first one I've seen anyway. Bet you somebody else says it too. This is what happens, y'all, when we say it out loud. This is it. This is where freedom is. Congratulations. It's day 1. Congratulations. It's day 1. Yep. Somebody said, wow, this is so cathartic. You got that right. Because when you understand that you are worthy and you want to walk towards the worth and not continue the walk of shame, and you decide to take an active part in your own healing, yeah, it's freeing. Let me tell you what you just did. You just took a key. See my little Converse situation. Thanks, Monique. It's for my birthday. You just took a key, okay? Your words are a key. You just took a key, put it in the lock, okay? You put it in the lock and you unlocked something. Now, when you unlock the door, that does not mean you've opened the door. It doesn't mean you've taken the land. It doesn't mean you own it. It just means you've taken the first step. But let me tell you, so many of y'all have been looking at that door and thinking, why won't this open? Why won't this shift in my life? Why can't I own this territory? Why can't I move forward in this victory? Because the door was locked. You cannot live to your full potential. You cannot live worthy. You cannot live at a high level when you are walking the walk of shame. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. I see y'all still sharing. I see you still sharing. Okay, somebody said, if I say it in my mind, does it count? Okay, let me tell you something. You have to get it out of here. Now, you don't have to say it out loud here. You don't have to do that. You need to say it out loud somewhere. It needs to be on paper. It needs to be out of you. Do you understand? Counselor, trusted friend, pastor, get it out of you. Because if it is in you, then it is holding you back. Somebody said this hurts. But we're hurting to heal. We're hurting to heal. Do you understand? It's hurting to heal. Now, I cannot, as much as I would love to, this whole thing is called Coffee with Crystal, okay? Because in my heart, I would absolutely love to take everybody out to coffee individually and sit there with our cups and ask you all the questions, because I love to ask questions. Ask you all the questions to help you see some things and start the walk, right? And be very, very specific. Okay, but I can't. And so this is the next best thing. Me getting on here and encouraging you to do the work. Now, this is unlocking the door. Okay? It's the beginning. It's day one. Okay? The first day you go out and walk or do a run to work on a half marathon, you didn't run the half marathon. You took the first steps. You got going. Okay? Now, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're going to be all right. On Instagram, somebody says, I got it out, but it's still holding me apparently. I didn't even know until you asked the question. And immediately I started crying. Do you know how many people have said that they're crying? They're crying. I can't stop crying. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. I keep seeing this. You want to know why? Because pent up with all the things you're holding on to, you have been holding yourself in chains fully, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So many tears. I see it. I see you saying so many tears. I'm in tears too. Good. I see you. That's okay. It's all right. That is the first sign that something is breaking. Do you understand? It's the first sign that something is breaking. It's okay. It's okay. Now, we're not going to get on the floor and stay on the floor. We're not going to stay on the floor this morning. Okay? You got to keep walking it out. Now, in real life, somebody said, I'm crying here at work. That's all right. Just if they walk by, just tell them I'm working on something. I'm working something out. I was in the car Saturday. It's in the car. Saturday morning. And something scared me. Something in my life scared me. And it scared me so bad. And I had a fear I didn't realize that I had. Right? I didn't realize it was that deep. And as soon as the thing scared me, as soon as I had the moment that kind of hit me like that, it broke the dam, and all of this emotion related to that fear just started coming up and bubbling over. And my youngest son was with me in the car, and he said, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying?" Now, mind you, first of all, I couldn't stop crying. And mind you, as I was being honest about sharing this fear on the phone, I called my sister. I was laughing about it. I was like, I can't believe I can't believe I had this fear, and it all came out at once. The laughter, the tears, the heart beating, the anxiety, it all came out at once, right? Because the release of you emotionally, lets it all go, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's okay. There is a process that you need to not just start today, but continue. Some of you need to get into a journal and keep pouring out, keep saying the things, keep being honest. Some of y'all need to get a counselor. Some of you need to see a pastor. Some of you need to look at the person who knows you and loves you, your spouse, your best friend, your small group, and say in a trusted environment, now trusted, I need to take the next step. Because one of the things that God will always do is demand of you is that you are not only wide open and honest with him, but that you are doing that in community. The Bible is really, really clear. You need community, and you need to do the work to find it. But if you don't have it, that's fine. Find a local church that has a freedom group. Get a pastor. You know, a lot of churches are doing virtual counseling right now. Call a friend, but keep going with it. Now, it doesn't mean everybody needs to know all your stuff all the time. What I'm saying is that you need to say it. You need to release from that shield of separation, and then you need to stop living siloed, because shame will put you by yourself. Okay? All right? I see you guys still talking. She said, now what? Yes. You got to keep going, okay, with the confession in safe places, because somebody outside of you may need to hear what you've been through. And trauma is real. We all know about PTSD, right? We all know PTSD is a real thing. When you've been through something physically, emotionally jarring, it can scar you, startle you, shock you into a season that you can't get out of for the rest of your life. We understand this with military people. This happens to you emotionally. You can have PTSD around your scars, and you don't realize that you have it until you realize that you keep hiding yourself from other people. Okay? Shame. So what does that have to do with knowing your worth? Because the antidote to shame is understanding that you don't have to live silent, separate, or siloed. Okay? You don't have to live that way. You have to own your worth. Owning your story. Y'all know I talked about this in She's Still There, my book She's Still There. Owning your story is the first step towards freedom, and that's a little bit of what we did. Now, you don't have to own just the hard things. You know, you can own the good things too. But saying, hey, listen, this is me. All right? It is what it is. And I'm working on me. Some of y'all are struggling with worthiness. See, this worthiness and shame, it's a seesaw, okay? Because the more you understand about your worth and you believe what God says about your worth, because you are an unrepeatable event, you are a miracle, the less you will be tempted to allow shame to define what you do and how you are. See, right now, shame for many of you is calling the shots. You don't even know it. You don't realize you're walking around not living at the highest level because you're allowing what you don't want people to see to direct what you show. Worthiness says, I'm going to show what I believe to be true about myself. I'm going to let you see what God says about me. I'm going to walk worthy. I'm not going to walk the walk of shame. And the more you walk worthy, the less room there is for shame to determine how you walk. You understand? It is a seesaw. Here are some examples of how some of y'all, like we just called it out. We just went into the deep. Some of y'all, though, are struggling with shame because you're the mom who is sending her kids to school. Whatever the reason. You think they're going to be fine. You got to go back to work. And you have friends that are keeping their kids home. And y'all, these mom conversations that we have, these mommy wars, you're feeling shame about your choice. See, it can be deep or it can just be right there, right under the surface. In quarantine, you may be looking around and saying, well, all these women that I know, they've done X, Y, and Z. Look at how much they've been able to accomplish. In quarantine, I have gotten caught up on all my Netflix situations. I have gotten caught up on all of the recipes I've always wanted to cook. And I have caught on to those extra 10 pounds that I was trying to lose. And you're ashamed because we've been in a solid, good quarantine now. You know what I mean? For a hot second. And you don't have anything to show for it, or you don't think you do. If you're ashamed of that relationship that you know you shouldn't be in, I'll tell you why you feel the shame, and you don't want anybody to know you got back with him. You want to know why you don't want anybody to know you got back with him? Because you know that he and that relationship is in direct opposition to your worth. And see, what happens is worth is light. When you walk in shame, you walk in darkness. Worth is light. And when people who understand your worth want to shine a light on the fact that you don't need to be with him, the opposite of the light that you would burn under by saying, yeah, I got back with him. Oh yeah, he came over the other night. I knew I shouldn't have. You don't even want to say it because you already know that light will bring back where you've been and what you need to cover up. So you don't say it. But here's the problem with walking in shame and walking in the dark. You want to know what the problem is? Is that dark begats darkness. Once you submit to one area of darkness in your life, the darkness expands. Do you understand? The darkness expands. And once you submit to one area of darkness in your life, you don't get to determine how fast or how far the darkness spreads. All you know is one day you look up and you're living in darkness. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. Y'all, I have known of the 15-year-old girl who is in the back seat of the car with the boy, and the 65-year-old woman who's letting that man creep in her home, paying his bills because she doesn't want to be lonely. Dark begats darkness. And this is not relative to the season of life you're in. It simply is relative to whether you're walking the walk of shame, whether you are walking the walk of worth, what you choose to do, and what you believe. Do you understand? So once you decide to walk in the light and own your worth, you figure out where the other people in the light are and what they're doing. Okay? The Word of God is always going to be a light. Your relationship with God, He will always shine a light. He's not going to, Debbie said, entanglements. Amber Palmer, my. The thing is He will always bring light. He will always bring light. He will always challenge you to change. He will always convict you in your sin. The Holy Spirit will do His work. So you don't have to worry about that. If you got your relationship with God and you're showing up for your relationship with God, showing up to be honest about your life, and then you are showing up in community, you are going to be practicing light and saying, I should be walking in the light. And worthiness and light push back shame. Light begets light. Exactly. You're getting it. You're getting it. Own your worth. All right. So here's what I want to tell you about worth. Okay. Remember I said that shame begats silence. I didn't say begat silence, but shame will lead you to be silent. Okay. Because there is a story that you're telling yourself. Okay. There's a story. And many of y'all, when you decide to own your worthiness, okay, it will affect what you say. And when you decide to change what you're saying, to change the story that you're telling about your life, it opens up everything. Some of y'all wonder why you can't get victory in one area of your life. It's because you're walking in shame in another area of your life, and you are speaking out loud or silently a story about your life that you actually believe. And so when you want victory in one area of your life, it's really hard to have it in one area of your life when you are condemning yourself in another area of your life. You want to know why? Because it all emanates from you. You are the source. Okay? Your person is the source. And so if you are full of darkness or if you're full of light, okay, if you are allowing God to be light in and through you, or you're not, because you don't want to show up to God. Remember Adam and Eve with the figs? You don't want to be honest with God. You don't even want, like he doesn't know, but you don't want to say, okay, this is where I've been. I got to get over it. If you don't realize that you are the same source, that yeah, God is working through you, but through you are the source. And if you are speaking condemnation in your life, in one area of your life, you will be struggling with victory in another area of your life. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I see somebody that said, bless your heart, Tracy, I'll pray for you. I did not see what Tracy said. When y'all see what somebody else says, if I miss it, and I know y'all do it, I want to encourage you to continue to support each other, okay? All right. So yes. So you need to change how you speak. The dreams that you have, that you want to accomplish, change how you speak. Not so much about the dream. Yeah, about the dream too. Yeah, get your vision board and all those things. But bigger than that, change how you speak about the area that you are covering up, the place you are walking in shame. It's connected. It's connected. One of the most challenging relationships that I had, the moment of the breaking came when I was practicing walking in the light, and I had seen victory over victory over victory in my life in a totally unrelated area. And then when that relationship cropped up again, I was juxtaposing the victory in this part of my life with the difficulty in this part of my life, the light in this part of my life with the darkness in this part of my life. And because I had been practicing this part of my life, I was able to say no. It's that simple. Because I was addicted to victory. I was addicted to light. I was addicted to what God was doing in my life. I was addicted to where I was seeing myself move forward. I was addicted to being known. I was addicted to intimacy. I was addicted to using my voice. I was addicted to being in community. I was addicted to that. But you don't get that without practicing that. You don't get addicted to running without running. And that doesn't mean it's easy at first. And that doesn't mean you're not out of breath. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to die. Okay? It just means you got to keep going until you get used to the new rhythm. It's the rhythm of royalty. When you speak life to yourself, you get into a new rhythm of royalty, and you have to use your voice in order to silence shame. So somebody just said that she has been told what's in the past is in the past, and we don't have to go back there. I agree with that. God has forgiven our sins, if it's a sin of your own, from the east, as far as the east is from the west. Here's the problem. There is residue. Okay? There is residue. If you smoke and you decide today to put the cigarette down, there is a residue. Because you've been a smoker for a long time. Now, some people can put it down and walk away and move on, and then that's it. They have, they're able to do that. Most people, though, struggle because there is a rhythm of residue. Okay? They have been giving away their victory, and that is the habit. They've been giving away their victory. So when the craving comes, okay, it's not that it's done, but you have to walk it out. Okay? It's a moment, but then you have to walk it out. Okay? And the walking it out is where we get caught, because we've been practicing all these years walking in shame, not in victory. So we can recognize our victory, own our victory, but then you have to keep walking it out. And one of the ways you walk it out is by speaking about yourself, what you believe is true based on God's word. So you have to ask yourself the question, what story are you telling yourself about your life and what you can accomplish? Okay? I remember I had lost 40 pounds. I was in church, and my sister is a big cheerleader. And after church, one night we were doing Bible study, And she was closing in prayer. And as she closed in prayer, she said, and I just want to take a minute, y'all. I just want to take a minute. And can we just celebrate Crystal for losing weight? She looks great, doesn't she? In that moment, y'all, I was like, oh no, don't tell them. Immediately, I felt like this. I felt imploded. And you want to know why I felt imploded? Because I wasn't convinced I could keep it off. And when she shined the light on something good even, okay, because the darkness does not want to recede, okay, immediately, what I have been practicing all that time, which is saying, y'all, people would say, girl, you look good, you're losing weight. I'd say, well, I hope I can keep it off. I don't know. Those 40 pounds are a good friend. They don't like me getting rid of them. They try to come back. Okay. And so that's what I've been practicing. So as soon as she said that, everybody is like, yay, yay, yay. And I'm feeling smaller and smaller and smaller because I didn't believe it. And if you don't believe it, if you're not practicing walking in worthiness, when somebody shines a light on you, it will burn. It will burn. So one of the ways you practice worthiness is by telling yourself the story that you believe is true, even if you don't yet believe it, because walking in the power of life and death with your tongue is powerful. What is your dream? Are you talking about that, or are you talking about what you can't do? Okay? So speak your worth. Read Psalm 139 verses 13 through 15. Put it on your mirror in your car. Talk about what God says about you, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are that we are his creatures, we are his workmanship, that God will finish what he started in you, the book of Philippians says. There are so many things in Ephesians chapter 1 and 2 especially that you can walk in. So look, Google, y'all. I'm always a fan of Google. Google, what does the Bible say about my worth, my value? What does God think about me? Google it. Find some scriptures, plaster them everywhere, and start speaking about yourself, what God says about you. Okay. When it's an issue of sin, some of your spoken words needs to be more prayer. Just talking to him, okay? Showing up in prayer. Showing up to your life, showing up in prayer. Because, again, remember, when you are shame-filled, you will hide. You will hide. So another way that you can combat the shame is by speaking life and by showing up. Showing up to do the things that you believe you should be doing, want to be doing. Showing up in prayer, because every time you're talking to God, he's shining a light. He's going to shine a light. Okay? Okay, and that light, it burns, but it also burns away the residue. He burns away the residue. Okay. One of the reasons why I love this book, the prayer book, is because when I was in college, y'all, when I was a single parent and in college, at that point, God knew it. Everybody knew everything. What you've been doing in the dark has come to the light. I was like, there was nothing else for me to hide. And I had this super, super sweet time of fellowship with God because I just was honest. I showed up to talk to him. And while I've been in church all my life, and I know how to pray like church people pray, I just was not about that. I was just about, God, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Where are you? Do you hear me? Can you please help me? It was, it was like, thank you so much. I see how you did that. I see how you worked out my class schedule. Thanks. I just appreciate you. Thanks for going to bat for me. It was that kind of thing. It wasn't like, oh Lord Jesus, I just am so grateful. It wasn't that. It was just like, just like right here, right here. Me showing up though to talk to God and feeling intimate with God had everything to do with me being willing to speak out loud and to show up without fear to what I wanted to do in my life, and without fear to the God who gave me worth, and to say, I'm here. Okay. So you need to speak then you speak life, then you need to show up. All right? Speaking life and life and life. Okay. And then you need to know that in some way, shape, or form, you need to share your story. Now, that don't mean everybody needs to write a book. That doesn't mean everybody needs to speak from a pulpit. That doesn't mean that everybody and their daddy needs to know everything. My aunt, my dad's sister, had something happen in her life. I happened to hear about it because I was the nosy oldest granddaughter. And I said, hey, I heard this happened in your life. Can you tell me about that? And you want to know what she said to me? She said, if and when I feel like me sharing that story with you would be beneficial to you, helpful to you, I will absolutely tell you. But to share the story, just to share the story for no point, no end, that's not what it's for. It would be to help you, not just inform you. Okay? And you can't share a story that you haven't healed from. A lot of us start sharing. It's not because we're sharing to be helpful. It's because we're in process of healing. We've just started the healing, and our sharing is actually bleeding all over the place. We're not actually helping. We're bleeding. We're not blessing. We're bleeding. Do you understand? And what you're doing is you're taking the speaking part and you're skipping over the showing up for your life and for God and for what he wants to do in your heart and for counseling and for community. You're skipping that part and you're getting to the sharing. And if you haven't done that, you're just bleeding everywhere. And bleeding everywhere is not helpful. Because then everybody else is running around trying to clean up your blood. Now, I'm not talking about sharing it with someone who's helpful to you. I'm not talking about the pastor or the counselor or even your small group, your community, your best friend. Okay? I'm talking about sharing where you're just telling it just to tell it. Nope, it's not just about information. Okay? It is about being a blessing. Okay? And if it's not a blessing, if you can't say, when I share this is help, and you don't have to guess. When somebody needs to know, they will tell you. Okay? There are some things that are only to be shared in my life with one person at a time, because it's a conversation with that one person, and I'm supposed to help that one person. I'm not supposed to share it all from a stage. Okay? So in order to begin this process of walking worthy and knowing your worth, you need to know what God says about you, and then you need to agree with it. You need to speak life. You need to show up for your relationship with God so that he can shine a light on your situation. The light may burn a little bit, but when you show up for him and you show up for your everyday and you show up for your dreams and you show up for a relationship and you show up all the way, that showing up is teaching you to walk worthy of what you believe that God is saying over your life, that you're agreeing with because you're speaking life over your life. Okay? When you speak life and when you show up, and then when you choose to share for your healing, right, in appropriate places, and then you choose to share to help somebody else, this is how you begin to walk worthy, because you know your worth and you're rehearsing your worth, and the knowing of it the knowing of it and the rehearsing of it is the walking it out. How do you walk worthy? You know that you're worthy. You speak it, you show up for it, and you share it. That is the beginning of the walk of worthiness. Knowing your worth means you need to understand also when there has been shame, and then commit to practicing another walk. Instagram, I'm about to turn off. I'm going to restart it, so just bear with me. The way you get rid of the residue is to practice a new rhythm. Okay? The way you get rid of the residue is to practice a new rhythm. It's that simple. It's not easy, but it sure is simple. Okay? It's not always easy, but it is simple. The answer is simple. The walk is not always easy, but that's okay. You're building muscles. You are building muscles, and that's all right. Okay, get back on here. When you are building muscles, nothing about the building muscles situation is fun. When you go to the gym and you work out, building muscle means you're actually tearing muscles for it to repair itself. And it's in the repairing of the muscles that the muscles coming back when you break down the fibers, when you lift weights, it's the tearing of the fiber of your muscle and the reattachment of those muscles that builds muscles. So yes, when you're wanting to grow stronger in something, there is an initial tearing, there is an initial ripping, there is an initial feeling of separation, and it burns and it's sore and it hurts. But then when you determine to walk forward in a new rhythm of worthiness, you are allowing the healing process to bring you back together whole and be new and different. This is why the best testimonies, the best speakers, the best books, the people who we admire the most are the people who are telling the story of overcoming. They're telling the story of overcoming. And we're like, ooh, I can't believe they went through that. Ooh, I can't believe this was their story. Ooh, I can't believe that they had this challenge. Ooh, I can't believe that they had this string of circumstances in their life that set them up for failure. And look at the victory. You want to know why those stories hit you? Is because the tearing built a muscle. So the shame, y'all, is walking around in the gym and looking around and saying, I can't lift this. This is too heavy. I don't know how to do it. It's too much. This sucks. Look at those people. I'll never be like that. I don't know how to do this. I'm paying all this money for the gym. I'm not using it. Okay. But learning a new rhythm of royalty means you walk in and you pick up a weight. And you may not know what you're doing. And it may not be easy. And you may fumble. And then you go to get some help. You pick up a weightlifting magazine, or you watch something on YouTube, or you get a trainer so that they can come alongside you while you do the work of the tearing and the rebuilding. But you keep showing up. So you got to stop walking around the gym speaking death. Speak life. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing in here, but I'm going to pick up this weight. We're going to figure it out. Hello, you got to start speaking to yourself. Then you have to start showing up. You just keep coming to the gym because it's a new walk, remember? Then you get help. You show up for those relationships, for that conversation, for that counseling. You show up for your time with God. You show up for prayer. You show up for Bible study. You show up. Speaking life, speaking worthy, showing up. And then you share. Nobody wants to see your weightlifting photo when you're in the middle of building muscle. When they have these competitions for these weightlifting people, they don't do it in progress. They do it once they've culminated their journey. And then they say, y'all see I got a little muscle? It's little, but hold on. See I got a little line right there? It's just a little line. But it's under a little fat, but it's right there. Right there. Okay? You can share. Yes, you've got to blaze a new trail. Blaze a new trail. Okay? There is a rhythm of royalty, but you have to learn to walk worthy. And I want you to know that learning that process, it's okay. It's okay. All right? Learning anything is okay. So I told y'all, I had to take my trash out this morning. And it's a new situation. You know, trash comes on a different day. It only comes once a week. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to stuff everything in the trash can. Then I had to go get another trash bin and then move the trash over because it wouldn't close. And one of the rules is it needs to close. And then I got that neighbor with the tree and all of it's new. All of it's new. Learning how to take down trees, learning how to deal with the neighbors, learning about these easement situations, calling the city. I ain't never had to call the city before. Doing all this stuff, putting out 2 trash bins, fine in the day, but I got the recycle bin. I'm trying to figure out how to be a dedicated recycler because my kids been watching. They're zennials, and so they've. I didn't grow up recycling. This is a new learned behavior. But my zennials are like, Mom, we have to recycle. We have to save the earth. Okay, so I got to put it in the trash can with the right lids. All these different things, and learning all these rhythms is exhausting. If you've ever moved and you don't know where the forks are, it's exhausting. It's like I go to where it was in my old house and it's not there, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's over there. Let me go over there and get the thing. Where are the cups? Okay, all of it, moving is exhausting. Not just the move, but the relearning of how to walk in your new space, the new trash days, the new boundary lines, the new rhythms. But I wouldn't trade the house. And I wouldn't trade the house. Do you understand? In this house, this made of clay, because this is gonna go away. This right here. I am not this. I'm not this. This is just my house. In this house that I get to walk around in, there's some trash that I got to take out. There's some new rhythms I got to figure out. When does the trash need to be taken out? Like, how often do I need to journal? How often do I need to be honest? How often do I need to have the conversation with a friend? How often does it work for me to pray? What does pray without ceasing look like for me? How often do I need to, is there more work that I need to do with taking off some of those layers of shame? Okay, is there still shame? How often do I need to recognize the rising of the residue of shame in my life and take out the trash? And how often do I put it this distance from my house versus taking it up on the curb and saying, listen, somebody else needs to come get this. I can't hold this anymore. Okay, there's a whole new rhythm, but this is my house. This is it right here. I wouldn't trade my life. I want to live. That means that there's some shame trash I got to take out. And I got to take it out by speaking to it. I have to take it out by showing up. And I have to take it out by sharing my life and sharing my story when appropriate. And learning to live in this house is learning to live with new rhythms. Learning to live in this house has everything to do with learning my boundaries, where I stop and where other people begin, so that we all know where this thing ends. Because sometimes your shame related to your sin or to the sin of somebody else in your life, it's learning boundaries. It's boundaries. This person, I love you, but you can only come this far. It's boundaries. I know what it looks like when I'm walking in shame and not forgiving myself. And this is a boundary that I'm going to set, where I'm not going to say these things about myself, where I'm not going to shrink back, these are my boundaries. These are my non-negotiables. These are the new rhythms that I'm setting up because I'm royalty. These are new rhythms that I'm setting up to get rid of the residue. One of the things, practically speaking, that I have had to learn, and I'm still learning to stop doing, is just to playing myself down, but taking a compliment and stop playing myself down. That's a boundary for me. I'm learning to own that boundary. So somebody says, girl, you look really nice. My knee jerk is to say, I can hardly get dressed, girl. Thank you, because you're not going to. No. Thank you. Thank you. I'm worthy of the compliment. I don't deserve it. I don't demand it. But if somebody gives it to me, accept it. And it makes me feel all crazy on the inside to do that. But I'm practicing a walk of worthiness because I know my worth, and it's okay to accept a compliment. Okay? Yes, Monica, your brain is a muscle. Once you retrain it, you will be on autopilot and it'll be easier. Okay. All right. So you guys, you girls, everybody. That's right, wrapped in favor, no excuses. I've kept you long enough. I talked, not 90 minutes. What did I do? I've done 60, I think I've done 75 minutes. Here's the question. If you believed you were worthy, what would change? Because everything that's holding you back from knowing your worth and walking in your worth is a chain. And a lot of those chains are shame centered. Because the only reason why those chains are still on you, one of those reasons why those chains are still on you, is because you've never unlocked. You've never used the key to unlock. And the first key is always word. It's always word. When God decided to create the whole daggone universe, he spoke a word. You are created in God's image. Your words, the power of life and death is in the tongue. So when you unlock it and you say, I'm not going to allow this chain to keep dragging me back. Listen, y'all. So it's Shark Week. And we, in our move, y'all, we are going to attempt to cut the cord. We are going to attempt not to turn on DirecTV because we don't watch TV. My husband watches sports. We may do YouTube Live or something like that. But right now, we're going to go on. Got that smart TV linked in to all the things. But we've been watching Shark Week because you can still, pretty much watch it. Which I don't know why I'm letting my 11-year-old watch it because now he's like, I never want to swim in the beach again. But anyway, boys, a house full of boys that want to watch Shark Week. And we were watching this one story where a shark took a big chunk of this lady's leg. Big chunk. She said, and it was dragging her down. The shark had grabbed onto her and was dragging her down. Okay? And she said, I was seeing the light get further and further from me. And based on her description, she's been told she was probably 20, 25 feet down. She said, and then I just remembered, the first feeling was fear. And I was in the grip. He was locked onto me. And I was just afraid. I was just shocked. I was just stuck. That was all I was feeling, was stuck and afraid and fear. And then at some moment, there was a spark. And she said, I just remember thinking, I want to live. I want to live. It was just a thought, just a spark. I want to live. And she said she took her fist. She said, I was looking eye to eye with the shark. He had me in his grip and I was turned and I was just looking eye to eye. And I took my fist and I took with all of my might, punched the shark directly in the eye. Directly in the eye. She said it felt like jelly, like jello. My fist sunk into the shark's eye and he released me. And then with all of my might, I just was scrambling to try to get back to the surface of the water. And then they showed pictures of her leg now, most of her legs, multiple skin grafts. I mean, they just thought she was not going to die. They didn't think she was going to die because of the bite. It was the blood loss. She had lost so much blood. But she's alive. She said, I remember laying on the gurney and her boyfriend, who she was with, said, I love you, I love you, I love you so much. And she said, I remember thinking, I'm going to die, and he waits until I'm going to die to tell me that he loves me. Some of y'all, something has happened in your life, and it's caused you great shame. It locked onto you, and it's been dragging you down, not for 25 feet, but for 25 years. And today, what I hope is that in hearing this Monday motivation, it's a spark that helps you to say, wait, I want to live. And whatever it is, whether it's something that you've done, whether it's something that you spoke aloud this morning, something that was done to you, that you decide that whatever it's worth, whatever it costs, because what I've done this morning has brought you eye to eye with the thing that's been dragging you down. For many of you, you know what it is. And it may not have been dragging you down for 10 years, 25 years, or I see you, Thelma, 40. This is the day you say, wait, I want to live. And you don't even know if you're going to live. It doesn't matter. You don't even know how long it's going to take you to fight your way back to the surface. It does not matter. What matters is you take that first step and say, I want to live. And then with everything you've got, with everything you've got, you fight. You fight by speaking life. You fight by showing up. You fight by sharing and getting out from under the cloak of shame. You walk in the light. You refuse to walk in the darkness. And yes, it's going to take some work to fight back from those 10 feet, 10 years, 25 feet, 25 years, 43. I saw you, 43. I see you. But what I want you to know is that often the thing that's got you in your grip, it doesn't really take that much for you to begin the process of release. It does take your effort. And once you punch it in the face, you realize that the sharp teeth, those were real. But you didn't have to pluck out the teeth one by one. You just needed to punch into something that would give way, probably easier than you thought. And then fight as hard as you can to get back to the surface and work your way to the light. Okay? Today's day one, y'all. It's day one. I'm no longer a slave to sin. I am a child of God. God came looking for Adam and Eve. He came looking for them. He knew what they had done, and he came looking for them. He is looking. Not you. Not the house of you. He's looking for you to be known intimately, without fear and without shame. You are worthy. Know your worth. But before you feel worthy, you have to walk worthy. Walking worthy means stopping the walk of shame. Walking as if you believe what God says is true. And when you act on what he says, you will find one day that there's a knowing. That you just know. You know that God doesn't need to be in your life. You know you don't need to take that crap on that job. You know that while you love your husband, you can speak your mind kindly, respectfully, but truthfully. You know that that child has been taking advantage of you way too long. You know that you are worthy of that promotion. You know that you don't have to apologize for who you are. You know that this is your gift and that you want to use it. You know. And humbly and gratefully and with honor and dignity, you can know that there is worthiness baked in. Take the key, start speaking life, unlock, and then do the work to stop walking as if you are under the weight of chains. Speak life, show up, and share your life in community, and watch what God will do. Tomorrow, I skipped last week's podcast. Y'all know there was a lot going on in my family, but tomorrow we are releasing a podcast from a gal who I know you will love her story. One of the things she's going to talk about is her journey with infertility. But she also, that journey launched her into building a whole ministry and a whole business. And it's a story you don't want to miss. But here's the thing. It started with her saying, I'm not going to allow this thing that's causing me hurt and causing me shame to stop me from living. So be sure and tune in the morning. If you're on my email list, then you will get the email. But be sure you're just looking for it, okay? Because when one of us says, this is how I beat my shame, it helps the rest of us to learn how to do the same. All right, lovely ladies. Have a great day. You can rewatch this from the beginning on Facebook or YouTube. And Remember, you can walk worthy. Believe that you are a one-of-a-kind, unrepeatable miracle, and that there is nothing that you have done that can separate you from the love of God. And if He loves you, if He's shining His light on you, you are worthy. So stop letting the chains of shame weigh you down. Use your power to speak life, to show up for your life, and to share your life in community, to unlock the chains, and then learn how to walk not with the weight of the chains on you, but looking up towards the light that God is shining on you, because He is the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him, and He is desiring of you walking out the best of you, that you can live high to your worth, because that's what He put in you. And He is looking forward, can I say that? He is looking forward to seeing you walk worthy of the worth He imputed to you, not because of you, but because of Him. But He wants you to own it, because eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what He has planned for you. But you cannot accept His plan, receive His plan, if you are walking surrendered to the chain. Unlock the chains, stand up straight, get up from under the weight of those things, and look up to the worth that He has given you. Okay? Look up for the worth that He has given you. Own that, practice that, walk that out, and watch the residue of shame abate as you abide. Stand up, girl. Lift your head. Stop apologizing. And when you start to say, this is how He sees me, and you walk in the light of what you believe, then it becomes easier to forgive yourself. Anyway, that's the book I'm currently working on. It's for next year. Right now, just pray. Talk to God and let Him shine His light on you. All right, y'all. Pray for me in these trees and these trash. And I will see you next Monday. Have a great day. Don't forget to walk worthy